Behind closed doors, something enormous is developing that has the potential to alter the way that money is used in the future. The Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, had a confidential emergency meeting, according to information just disclosed by a Fed insider. The purported subject? A drastic and unheard-of proposal to start selling off US dollar reserves and swapping them out for XRP. And that's only the start. There is a parallel plan to initiate a controlled burn of Ripple's 25 billion XRP kept in escrow, which may cause the largest supply shock in cryptocurrency history, according to documents that have surfaced from a different Goldman Sachs investigation. This isn't your typical headline about cryptocurrency. This has to do with rewriting the fundamental framework of international finance. Let's begin at the highest level. The US dollar has been the global reserve currency for more than a century. Today, however, every aspect of that dominance is being put to the test. BRICS countries' de-dollarization, skyrocketing national debt, and declining faith in fiat. A radical pivot was the main topic of Powell and Dimon's purported off-the-clock encounter at a private Manhattan location. XRP was said to be the front-runner for implementing a hybrid, decentralized settlement layer in order to maintain US liquidity leadership. This is astounding in and of itself. If verified, it indicates that the Fed wants to integrate XRP directly into its liquidity operations going forward in the United States. Let's now discuss the story's shocking revelation: the possible theft of 25 billion XRP from Ripple's escrow vault. For those who do not know, Ripple now has tens of billions of XRP in time-locked escrow accounts. Each month, 1 billion currencies are released to fund partnerships and operations. However, what if Ripple chooses to permanently delete a significant percentage of those coins due to pressure or cooperation from central banks? That would cause an immediate reduction in supply, an unprecedented level of scarcity, and a fire under the price chart of XRP. And that's precisely what the Goldman Sachs research that was leaked suggests. Analysts talk about Ripple's escrow as a programmable burn mechanism to initiate monetary constriction via digital liquidity in one part titled Strategic Reserve Conversion Scenarios. The fact that we are discussing XRP as a programmable monetary basis, rather than only a remittance tool, is revolutionary. One garbled audio clip purportedly from the Powell-Dimon conference has actually made its way online. The vault timers are shown in the short segment of filtered voice whispers. Jerome, the XRP collateral system. Although this clip's veracity has not been confirmed, it very closely matches the information in the documents. The smart contracts already embedded into Ripple's escrow vaults may allow for conditional or scheduled burning of XRP. Let's take a moment to picture it. Imagine a huge animated vault that is closed up and contains 25 billion XRP coins. Imagine now a red flashing countdown timer that is approaching zero. When it eventually does, the vault opens, and to be honest, billions of XRP are instantly burned in the process by a digital fire. The scope of what we might be dealing with is actually that large. This burn is more than simply symbolic. At the protocol level, there is a drastic cut in supply that is the result of concerted institutional agreement. The most startling element, to be honest, is what all of this might mean for the price of XRP. The majority of mainstream analysts prefer to laugh at high-price targets. However, the situation would immediately alter if 25 billion XRP were abruptly removed from circulation while institutional demand increased. We're talking about pricing actions so strong that it would practically break models, not simply a leap to $2 or $5. According to a number of cryptocurrency macroeconomists, XRP may reach $100 or higher before 2025 in a high-burn, high-adoption scenario, particularly if the Fed or IMF accepts XRP as a component of a global RTGS reform. Let's take a closer look at that. Large payments between institutions are settled by central banks using a system called Real-Time Gross Settlement, or RTGS. It's vital infrastructure, and to be honest, the majority of RTGS platforms today are still powered by antiquated legacy technology. In fact, XRP is listed as a potential Layer 1 collateral and message substitute in the leaked Goldman Sachs document, which specifically states that the Fed is, quote, considering alternatives to chips and Fedwire. If that's the case, It presents XRP as a viable sovereign-grade digital rail in addition to Swift's rival. Why XRP? Well, since this is what it was designed for. It satisfies ISO 2022. It settles in a matter of seconds. Moving just costs a fraction of a dime. It can be scaled. Most significantly, central banks can absorb it without creating instability, particularly if they work with Ripple to initiate a significant escrow burn to limit future issuance. This is all taking place in the midst of a worldwide financial crisis. Instead of using the dollar, the BRICS nations are experimenting with gold-backed tokens. To be honest, Europe is on the verge of going into recession. Additionally, the Fed is caught between insolvency and inflation. A third option, XRP is a decentralized neutral liquidity rail that can operate internationally without the regulatory complexities of Bitcoin and Ethereum or the political taint of the US dollar. Let's now confront the doubters. Does it all seem like smoke and mirrors? Indeed. Is the audio clip phony? Of course. However, there is no denying the increasing convergence of institutional behavior, government policy changes, and crypto infrastructure, particularly in relation to XRP. Everything is heading in the same direction. The laws, the trends in liquidity, the court decisions, and now, these leaks. XRP is suddenly at the center of a global reset that is being prepared. Furthermore, this isn't limited to the US. Similar rumors have surfaced in the United Arab Emirates, Japan, and the United Kingdom. In the background, central banks are developing back-end capabilities for digital assets. Additionally, Ripple is constantly present in the space. XRP is frequently brought up in discussions about tokenized treasuries, cross-border payments, and sovereign bond markets. It's no accident. Coordination is what that is. What should you watch at the moment, then? Watch Ripple's monthly escrow reports first. Any abrupt departure from the monthly release timetable of 1 billion could indicate the imminence of a burn event. Secondly, observe the flows of those institutional wallets. In the past 2 weeks, whale accumulation has increased by 17%. There's obviously something in the works. Third, keep an eye out for changes to the law pertaining to frameworks for digital collateral. XRP will probably be included or qualify under any regulations defining compliant digital settlement layers that are passed by the US or the EU. To sum up, even though this scenario sounds like financial science fiction, every detail is authentic. The only thing lacking is time. Along with the legislation, the procedures, the escrow, the banks, the infrastructure, and the leaks. And if even a small portion of this scenario comes to pass, we might be witnessing the most explosive crypto event in history, so that window may be closing quickly. XRP could be the monetary norm of the next financial era, not just a passing trend. Tell us in the comments below whether you believe that Ripple will cause the burn. Do you think the Fed is secretly building up its reserves of XRP? Before 2025, will we see $100? Remember to press the bell, like, and subscribe for more breaking news that the mainstream media won't cover. The financial endgame is playing out, and it's happening more quickly than anyone anticipated. Notice, this movie is solely intended for informational and educational reasons. It isn't financial guidance. Before making any investing decisions, please conduct your own research and speak with a financial advisor.